Welcome to the Bite Me podcast. I can tell you right now, it's already been an eventful one, and it's only promises to get more eventful. I'm John Lopez. That is Captain Dean Thomas in his truck, packing heat, promising that if a coyote roams up while he is on this podcast live, he will shoot it for us all.
Or a quail.
Or a quail. He's got a shotgun next to him, sitting in his truck, no Wi-Fi at the ranch. So this could be an eventful one. That's Captain Scott Knoll, who was, I guess, stuck behind a Modelo truck. There's worse things you could be stuck behind, but got here in time. This is one of those shows, neither rain nor shine nor gloom of night can keep the Bite Me boys from hopping on the Bite Me podcast. We do have to mention Caleb McCumber. His was, I guess, unavoidable. Driving back from, where was he? Nebraska, somewhere in the Midwest, right?
Yeah, Nebraska.
South Dakota.
South Dakota.
South Dakota.
Yeah, so
I'm just trying to keep up with Scott's dedication to the program.
Scott is like a clock.
He has done a couple of these sitting in his truck on his phone, and this is a first for me. So
it sounds good. In
the name of dedication, I had to do it.
Yeah, so let's do it. Like I said, Captain Caleb can't make it. He's stuck in traffic on the way back from South Dakota. But it's going to be an eventful show. We might have a coyote killing. I guess we probably shouldn't brag about that. Might have a quail. We got a shotgun sitting next to Captain Dean, Captain Scott, and a lot to cover. But let's start right here. You mentioned it right before we came on air, Captain Dean, because the week that was, and we'll get to what would Dean and Caleb, Scott do here at the end of the show. But the week that was worth recapping because it was feast or famine, man. It was feast or famine.
Man, so 6 days straight of fishing in November with really unusual conditions. I mean, they were primo conditions, but they were unusual for November. I mean, perfect wind, great tide, and but really warm water temperatures, warm air temperatures, kind of summerish. I mean, we're still out in t-shirts and barefooted on the boat, you know, as if as if summer never ended. But the rhythm of the week, and also coming up on the new moon. It was one of those weeks where if you would have asked me 3 months ago, pick a date on the calendar when I should be there, and I would have said, this is the week to give it your shot. So had great anglers on the boat this week. People who just stand there and beat it up for hours, you know, nonstop in spite of whatever crazy idea I came up with. So it started out like just amazing. The first 2 days could not go wrong. Just flats, drifting, topwaters, blowing up fish. Another thing that I talk about during the year is at the time of the year where the speckled trout start intermingling with redfish on the flats. And those big trout were there. I mean, we caught some 25, 26, not a lot of them, but in the first 2 hours of the morning, you had a great shot at that big trout. And during the middle, we had days that were just nonstop. And then the very next day, it was non-existent. Weren't seeing them, like they were just gone. And then the very next day, it was back to blowing up crazy. It was one of those weeks that I have had a hard time explaining the rhythm of the week.
Yeah, that's where I was going to go. Why was this happening?
Man, that is the question of, and I think if we could answer that question, there wouldn't be a need for this show anymore.
Well, then, okay.
But it was just, I mean, it was a very interesting week. I had some of the folks that were fishing with me had multi-days booked up where they fished through some of the great stuff and then came back 2 days later and had a scratch. I mean, we still managed a few good ones, but it wasn't like just blowing them up all day long. But I found the entire week to be quite intriguing. But the water temperature, the one thing that did happen is the water just got warmer and warmer every day. We finished the week with 78-degree water temperature. Here we are at Thanksgiving. Hey, I'm down here in the valley near Zapata. It's 93 degrees here today.
It was 90 today, at least where I was. I was broadcasting live over at NRG, and I looked at my phone. It was 90. It was 90 today.
Yeah, and so 93 where I'm sitting at the moment. So, man, I think it's just part of what makes the game, the challenge of what we do, even more challenging and
fun when you figure it out.
Explain.
Yeah, Scott, what about you? Did you kind of experience similar stuff?
I experienced all that today.
Today, let's not talk about the week. So
just today, I pull it into one flat, mullet moving around, everything's looking good, 0 fish. And then moved into a backwater, found fish. We got some good schooling. Came back out on that same flat again, thinking is that tide was falling all day. It was up pretty good this morning. Gonna go back. I think it's back down to 0 now. And I thought, oh, as that tide falls, they're going to come out of the trees. You could hear them feeding back in the mangroves.
Yeah.
And that never really took off. And went back out on that flat, didn't find anything, changed flats. Not that different of a flat. I mean, it's really, really similar. But it leads to some backwaters I wanted to get to. So I was going to pole across that one.
Yeah.
4-tailing schools. I mean, same kind of flat, same conditions, same everything, a mile away, mile and a half away. And that one had fish on it.
It's crazy.
Can't explain that. Went through a cut, came out onto another flat, 0 fish. Same kind of flat. They're connected by a little bayou.
Do you think water temps are fluctuating in certain areas?
Well, it was 77 this morning, 77.5 this morning, and it's almost 81 now.
Yeah.
Crazy. I mean, that is just.
And that's at the little jetties. That's not on the flats where the sun's been. So, I mean, out on the flats, it's probably 85 degrees or more.
Yeah. See, I'm wondering.
So, Scott, Scott, have you found? So we're on Redfish Bay. The tide crept up every day. It went a little higher. In the beginning of the week, we had low tide where the sand holes in the middle of the deeper flats were kind of concentrated. But every day we had a little bit higher. That range just went up throughout the week.
Yeah, it's been stair-stepping. The highs have been a little higher and lows have been a little higher, but it dropped out pretty hard today. I mean, it was noticeable back in those little creeks and stuff I get into.
Yeah,
as I push pulling the smoke clouds, and then the redfish would make their mud puffs, and the mud puff was going away within just a few seconds.
Yeah.
And so the tide was moving really hard. I think what killed it at the end was just the tide finally it bottomed out. And as I was running back in very late,
we're going to get to that. Yeah, I got an idea on that.
I was looking at all the poles as we were running back in, and me and the guy I was with, he's fished with me forever. And both of us commented on it when we got back to the ramps. And the water wasn't swirling around the poles at all. If we had hit dead low. And everything had pretty much shut down. We caught one as we were leaving the flat. We had one suicidal fish that was coming down through the grass, through the cord grass, and his son was up there and just happened to make a blind cast with his fly rod. And I said, dude, you got one coming. And it made a left-hand turn and turned right into the fly and ate it.
Damn.
Just suicidal. But then sharks. Got sharks on the flats. I've been seeing them every day. It feels like I'm at the Chandler Islands.
Yeah.
I had about a 4.5 foot black tip swimming around the boat just as we were leaving.
See, that's what I was wondering. You guys would know for me, but we talk about 6 inches, 8 inches of water can make a world of difference, on the bite and the fish. I'm wondering if 2 degrees of water temp, because we've seen the bait, and maybe we're not we all look at the water temperature, but not constantly. You kind of check it. Like, let's say it went from 79 to 75 or 76. Do you think that could make a difference on some of these that we're experiencing?
I don't know. At this time of year, I mean, generally speaking, I mean, it's the length of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Water can't get as hot as it was. It's not sunny all day, but I don't know. It was just
And I
weird.
would say it from 75 to 78, that range is not as dramatic to the fish.
Mm-hmm.
If you go from like 56 to 61 in that range, then that's a difference. But from 70
right
to the middle 70s, that I
it's pretty much the same.
Yeah, I don't, when it's in that range, I don't find that to be, that much art. And here's another theory that I've had over the years that kind of
I love your theories.
Has been challenged this year, because I've even said that because the days are getting shorter, so the fish react to the seasons. They understand the seasons. I mean, nature has a rhythm to the seasons, which revolves around the amount of daylight
Mm-hmm.
that they see. So even when the fact that the water's warmer, but the fact that the days are getting shorter still prompts the mullet migration, the flounder run, and even if the water temperatures are warm, the days are still getting shorter. And
Mm-hmm.
so if you're talking about the deer, even like on the ranch here, even though if it's hot, the rut's going to happen. I mean, and it revolves around the moon and the sun and the amount of daylight. But even with Scott seeing a shark today, so as long as those summer-like conditions persist, they don't have a reason to
Mm-hmm.
shift gears. So to me, I kind of felt like we're just still stuck in summertime.
Yeah, we only had that one cool front.
Way back in one of my flats. I mean, way back. Earlier this week, I found a bunch of flounder, big flounder. I was spooking flounder as I was pulling along. I was spooking these, I mean, upper size flounder.
Yeah,
I can't explain that. I mean, they shouldn't be back there right now.
they should be moving. Yeah,
they should have been moving. And then Dean was talking about the big trout up on the flats. I've run across several really big trout. I'm talking a couple of them were probably 27, 28-inch fish up laying in the grass and 8-10 inches of water.
Yeah. Well,
that's usually a springtime thing. That's not usually a fall thing for me.
Another crazy thing that we saw this week, as we're drifting across the flats at midday when the sun is up, and at that point you can see everything that's down there as you're drifting along. It just lights it up with clear skies. There was a speckled trout, and we've caught a few of them that were 25, 26 inches. There was a trout sitting in a sand hole, and as we're drifting up to it, easily 28-incher. I mean, I don't want to get too crazy. It was a big speckled trout. As the boat drifts up to it, because I wanted the guys on the boat to see it, I'm like, look, check it out. And I'm pointing at this fish because I'm expecting it to blow up at any second and just spook. The boat drifts in maybe 18 inches of water, drifts over this speckled trout, and it comes out the other side. As the boat drifts over, it drifts straight over this trout. And as the boat passed over it, it stayed in that sand hole. We looked over the other side of the boat as we passed it, and that fish just sat right there, which was never seen anything like that.
Yeah. It's summertime, man. The calendar doesn't say it, or the holidays don't say it, but it's summertime. I want to get some that's a direct product of the live stream here on YouTube, which, by the way, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. Just search Bite Me Fishing or my name. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast as well. I didn't even say that at the top of the show. So eager to get going with these fellas. But wherever you get your podcast, you can subscribe. And we got all kinds of stuff happening with the podcast. We'll keep you up to date on that as we move forward. But the Facebook group page is a great place to leave your comments. If you can't watch us and listen to us live here. We'll post the podcast about 6 p.m. on all the platforms, and you can subscribe on all the platforms. But on the live stream here, we were talking about, well, Scott mentioned, as he was getting to the podcast late, Dean, we were talking about, he's in his truck because he's at the ranch and he's trying to shoot coyotes and quail and all that stuff. It did get me thinking, because somebody mentioned here that Scott also did it from his marina once. And I think I did that once as well. So where's the weirdest and what's the toughest way you got onto the podcast? Because I know for me, I actually thought about COVID, Scott, when you and I were just doing it. You drove down one day. I said, well, let's just do the podcast. And we're sitting at my back table at the trailer in Matagorda, just passing a microphone back and forth. This was before we were on YouTube, just going like, I asked a question. I said, don't worry, I'll edit out all the pauses and then pass it to you. Then I'm passing it back and forth. I've done that. I've done one. I think I started it on the boat on the water. I can't remember if that was the podcast or I had a Zoom call at work, but I did it on the boat on the water at that time. What about you guys? Where obviously today's one of those days.
I can tell you. Well, this is number 2 for me. The other one was when we were at the fishing show in Houston, and we were on the stage, and that was also where we were passing the little battery powered microphone.
Yeah.
And it was really hard to interact with each other because, if somebody else was, had a thought or a comment, they just sit there with their thumb up their butt, kind of like, oh, this would be cool if somebody could hear this at the moment. But that one was kind of awkward. But actually, I should do this more often because this is the coolest place to sit.
Right in the ranch. What about you,
the hell
Scott?
out of staring at the wall.
I did one from my deer stand at one time.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
I did one on my tailgate at the deer camp.
Mm-hmm.
One of them from the Center Point Fire Department.
Oh, that's right.
One down on the river and on the Guadalupe River, standing down there. I've done my truck probably 3 or 4 times when we had power outages.
Yeah. Remember I did that one in Devil's River when we didn't have a good signal, and there was no signal. I was just on battery, hoping that it would stick. And Dean and I added one from Costa Rica, from the patio. Remember that? We added one from the patio in the back of Costa Rica.
Sure did. Yeah, forgot about that.
Done it from my boat twice, 2 or 3 times from the boat.
See, so shout out.
I just want to acknowledge that's the kind of dedication that you just have to have to the program.
I mean, you're I guess you're kind of kidding around, but you're not. I mean, these guys have been awesome, man. These guys have been awesome, and so we'll see how it goes from here. But it's great.
There's a lot of deer season left.
He's like, I'm driving to the ranch. I don't care if it's Monday.
This might not be the last one from the pasture out here.
All right, so good follow up on that discussion from Perry. You talked about it kind of like summertime. He says, do you see that kind of behavior in the summer months? My experience is absolutely yes, but I'll let you guys talk about it.
What you don't see is the speckled trout on the flats during the heat of summer.
Yeah,
that has been the variable that's been mixed in with this heat. The most obvious one. And also, well, we haven't had the big rafts of mullet that I search for this time of year, and this is a tough one, man. I don't want to call it tough, like it's a challenge. It's
perplexing.
It's been interesting because we sit here every week and analyze these things, that it has been interesting to put it into words or to try to figure out and explain how different this is, how odd.
Yeah.
So
the other day I was out, saw shrimp everywhere. And the thing I talked about last week, little grass shrimp all over the place. Today, never saw grass shrimp. And the tail end reds were, buried in the grass. Their heads were so buried we couldn't hardly get them to eat.
Yeah.
And it was like let the fly settle all the way down in there and then hope it doesn't hang up. And that's the only way we were getting them.
Yeah.
I would think that that smallest shrimp this time of year is kind of odd.
Yes.
I mean, these are 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch long little bitty shrimp.
And that's summer like. Yeah, that's very summer like.
Yeah, it's usually the bigger shrimp and they're moving out about this time. And I'm not seeing the bigger shrimp either. I don't know where they went.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. We're going to have a shrimp topic today, but go ahead and finish your thought.
Yeah, we've got a lot of hot water, and down right where I'm at, we got drought. I mean, it's dry. We got no incoming fresh water anywhere. So I don't know if that's having some effect on it or not. Its flats are super salty.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I will say this, and this kind of leads into one of our topics that I know Scott and I have talked about before on the podcast. I experienced everything that you guys talked about when I was fishing this week, and the only time I caught fish, other than little small trout, I caught one good red and one good, real good trout, was when I saw the Egret Secret, as I like to call it. And you know, Dean and I were talking the day before, and you know, we're kind of game planning, and he's like, well, you know, the drop offs off the channel and all that, but that's a lot of land. I mean, that's a lot of water, you know, so where exactly? So I was kind of cruising down, and I saw, I want to say it was 6 egrets, no less than, and Scott, you know what I'm talking about, no less than, say 10, 15, 20 feet apart, depending on where they were. And they were just kind of walking, and you didn't really see them, you know, poking their nose down much, but a couple of them, you know, sort of flexed their wings a little bit, ruffled their wings a little bit. And I'm like, well, that's about the closest thing I can get to a real good sign, because all the stuff was there. Sure enough, caught the red in front of the egrets as I was drifting in, caught the big trout in front of the egrets as I was drifting in. And I was just, it was one of those things where you could just feel it, you know, you could just feel that it was going to happen. But Scott, I'll let you explain it, because it's something that I've always subscribed to. Then you and I talked about it on this podcast a couple of years ago. Don't sleep on the little egret secret, because they're doing that for a reason, right?
Yeah, snowy egrets, man. Those are redfish dogs, man. They're like pointers. They go out there. If you see, they don't really like each other very much. And usually, if there's not a lot of bait going around, if they land too close to each other, they'll fight. But if you see 2 of them pretty close, or 3 or 6 like you did, the more you see, it's almost 100% redfish. If they're uptight to each other and tolerating each other, there's going to be redfish around. And in Galveston, you had the edge of the saltgrass on the upper coast, and they'll hop along there and they'll leapfrog each other as the redfish school moves down the shoreline. If I see them leapfrogging, that's 100%. There's no doubt I got redfish there. I'll pull all the way across the lake to go to that.
Yeah. And Dean, you know exactly where I was fishing. I think I texted you. I said I finally got a big trout. It was a trout, which probably speaks to what you were talking about. It doesn't make sense that they're in those flats, but they were just sort of popping around, poking their heads, ruffling their wings over on that. I guess it would be the northwest corner along those openings, and it was a chant. But that was it.
And so I did see you actually where you were fishing, and I would be remiss if I did not mention that we saw you try to launch out of there. Don't think nobody saw that.
Okay, so let me explain. So there was some bait action in front of me, and rather than go all the way around, I said, you know what? I bet you I can get up quick enough to get over this 6 inches of water. Well, I didn't. So what I did is I went, landed right on top.
It was a little more dramatic than but and it was funny because the guys that was there with me, and I may have called you before that because we had chatted
you did,
throughout the day, And I told those guys, I was like, look, I said, there's Lopez right over there. And then whenever you launched and you threw that big old mud rooster tail, I was like, look at that dude. Look at him.
And you know what I did? I did the professional move. I acted like I meant to do that the whole time. I raised the motor, drifted on out, kept fishing, and then I got out of there. That's a pro move. That's a pro move right there.
It's funny that you would say that, because that's the exact impression I got. Whenever you did that and you didn't go anywhere, I saw you walk back up to the front of the boat and started casting again. And I was like, well, you might as well fish if you're going to be there for a minute. But yeah, but the Egret Secret, it's just really cool that rhymes. But it does blend in. And another thing that's going to creep into the conversation, of course, over the next couple of months is the pelican issue. The
Here we go.
They're going to rear their ugly head, literally ugly head, for the next couple months. So the egrets, so the white pelicans also. We have drifted. And just like Scott said a minute ago, the egrets are the dogs. The white pelicans are the wolves of the flats. I mean, I have seen white pelicans just inhale upper slot redfish. I mean, they will eat anything that can fit in that giant ass pouch and swallow them whole. So it's definitely something to pay attention to. I mean, so the egrets, the pelicans, they're fish eaters. They are looking for, and so whenever I'm out there with people on the boat, I tell them, I said, those guys are looking for the same thing that we're looking for. Yeah. So when you see them bunched up in hunting groups or kind of somehow working together. And so the egrets are extremely territorial, man. It's like Scott said, they get close to each other, they will throw down. I mean, I've watched blue herons in a territorial battle where those dudes will fight to the death. I mean, it is savage when herons get after each other. Egrets also. So they really don't tolerate each other in their territory or their area too much. And when you see them cooperating, it's a really good sign that they're willing to deal with each other for the fact that there's some fish that are there.
It's kind of like Thanksgiving, family Thanksgiving. You really don't like most of the people that are there, but you're willing to set that aside. You're willing
for that cranberry sauce.
When there's a mashed potatoes and gravy involved, like, you know what, I'll put up with old Aunt M and all her crap. I think we finally figured it out. Egrets. As the Egret Secret goes, so goes most of our Thanksgivings. But Scott, you know, he brought it up. You know, we can always save some of these other topics. He brought up the pelicans. I think if we get another cold front, pelicans might be a little more reliable, or no?
They're going to get here sooner or later. It's not even cold up north. I mean, kid I had on the boat today, he's in college in Colorado and Boulder. So they hadn't even had snow yet. It's super unusual. All the ski slopes, no snow. So the cold weather hadn't hit yet to push them down. Those white pelicans, they hang out on the lakes, the inland lakes all year, and then they come down here when it gets cold. I usually don't see them until late December around here. Okay. They're coming.
And another thing, I don't know what you're seeing, Scott, in your neighborhood, but we have no ducks. There are
no ducks.
Today was the first day.
Have been quite disappointed. Yeah. And the ducks that I have seen are flying up in the stratosphere. I mean, they are way high and very few groups passing over, which normally we have just mega rafts of ducks on the shallowest flats.
They're coming. They're here. I saw probably 5 or 6 flights today of like hundreds, if not 1,000 redheads buzzing back and forth. It was once the airboats got up and started moving around.
Yeah.
They pushed them up. But I didn't hear much shooting going on this morning. I hadn't heard a whole lot of shooting at all.
We've heard down there just shooting. It's almost as if they just want to shoot their shotgun because you're like one.
I thought they were shooting seagulls or something. Just
I Puddle Ducks Inland, that ranch I got on over there, they got into a pretty good shoot the other day and had limited out in 15, 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those are here. It was probably a bunch of teal more than likely, but
yeah. So we've been talking about like the weird bite and the egrets and a little bit of the white pelicans. But one thing, I was actually by myself fishing when Dean saw me strategically put my boat on a sandbar. So strategically,
it's like I meant to do that.
Yeah, I did. You can't prove otherwise. You can't. It was the perfect spot. But one thing, so I was by myself, but I still said out loud, I was talking to no one. I said, so I said, you can just feel it. I said, you can just feel it. And you can just feel that there were fish there. I only caught the one, but there were definitely fish there. I had some blow up.
The only thing you were feeling was the bottom of that boat stuck into the mud.
Again, strategic. But let's talk about that because in prepping up the rundown here, I thought to myself, well, there's got to be some science behind that because we've talked about it on the show before. Like, how many times you've been on your boat, maybe not catching very many, Scott, and you're like, it's fixing to turn on. It's fixing to turn on. And so I looked up the science behind it, and there is, a lot of times it's subconsciously, and I've told you guys multiple times, you don't even know what you know. You don't even think about it consciously. And I'm on the lower level of that, but still, there's a lot of changes that say, can turn things on. Your body actually feels slight pressure changes. And I know not everybody subscribes to that, but in the midst of fish being there and not biting, it can turn on the bite. And then the other thing that it said, you're probably, even though there's no slick there, Scott, there's no real bait on top. There are little almost bubbles of that watermelon smell that are very, very faint. And you can actually smell that they are starting a bite. So when you say you can just feel it and you're being sincere, you actually can. Like I know I've smelled that very faintly. I can remember it multiple times, but no slicks around. You can just kind of figure it. You can sense it,
You can also sense when it's dead.
Yes, you can. There ain't nothing here. There ain't nothing happening here.
There's nothing happening.
Yeah.
We were beating our heads against the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of the way I felt about the last hour out there today. And without really even looking, it just had that dead feeling about it. Then running in, we realized the time was done.
Yeah.
And, everything had stopped. I mean, the mullet weren't moving around as much. The birds had all gone to the sandbars, kind of hanging out. Hey, you can just kind of look around and see what everything's doing around you, and you can get a pretty good feel for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Scott will get this as well as I do, because during deer season, hunting is very much like fishing. And first of all, fishermen and hunters are the ultimate optimists. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we are, if you're a pessimistic person, hunting and fishing is not for you. It's just, you will not last at this hobby if you are looking at the bad side, not the challenges. There's just you will spend more time waiting for that moment of glory than you will experience that moment of glory. And I guess it's just the season where I find myself comparing fishing and the movement of fish to the movement of animals in the brush here.
Mm-hmm.
And you will, there's days I'm sitting up in this tree or in a blind and you're like, what the hell am I doing here, man? Why would I sit here for hours just staring at these damn trees?
Well, when you put it like that,
no, I mean, I don't, that may be just, so it's funny because I was even talking with some guys on the boat this week whenever I said the voices in my head become overwhelming whenever when you're going through these slow spells, when you're just sitting there and you're staring at the water. And when you've spent your whole life staring at that water, you know,
Mhm.
I mean, you get it. That's like you said, you know, you get that sense that this is just stupid, you know.
I'm going to use that as a promo. I'm going
But it doesn't mean that you're going to quit or you're going to give it up. It doesn't
Yeah.
mean that you're going to stop
Yeah.
trying.
But it also
And-
means whenever
well,
you
and
do
then- and
sense
so-
change, yeah.
Well, we talked a couple weeks ago, we were talking about how long do you grind it out, you know, and somebody said 45 minutes. And I kind of laughed. I mean, everybody laughed at that. It's like, 45 minutes is a warm up, you know, 6 to 8 hours is when you get the grind going on.
Mhm.
But you have to believe that if you stick with it, that the rhythm of nature is going to turn in your favor.
I've said it multiple times. The greatest thing about fishing, and the reason we do this and I do this, is no matter how bad a day you're having, every time you cast that next cast, there's hope.
Hunter,
There's
so
hope.
and one of the most profound statements I've ever heard on my boat, it was Bob Sweeney. He was with Texas Parks and Wildlife. Him and his buddy were on the front of the boat, and about 6 hours into the day of just standing next to each other, he looks at his buddy and he goes, even though I have thrown this thing out there 600 times, he said, I still believe this is the one. And I swear that has stuck with me for so many years and that's the ultimate optimist of, the next one is the one. And then whenever you get that blow up on that next cast, man, that leads you into the next 3 hours.
Sadly, again, that's true. But Scott, you probably have had clients. Hell, I've had people on my boat where you say it's getting ready to turn on, and then it does, and they think you're some sort of soothsayer or something. It's not. It's your subconscious. It's what you've been sensing. You know.
Yeah, I mean, you like I said, you smell it, you feel it, and you watch all the animals and what they're doing and how they're moving around, what the birds are doing, and when the birds have been back in the trees and they're just kind of hanging out, and all of a sudden the next time you look up, they're all out on the outside edge, and they're been on a sandbar, and then all of a sudden they're spread out across a flat waiting. That's key.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other side of that was think about it, as Dean was talking about being an optimist and go anyway. I hear it from a lot of the beginners when they're coming on, which I know we get a lot of them on here listening, you know, to try to figure it out. Well, I was going to go, but the tide wasn't right. Or I was going to go, but the wind was southwest instead of southeast, or the wind was blowing 15 instead of 10. You know, and they wait for the perfect tide with the perfect wind and the moon phase being right and the major, and they try to line all of those things up before they take off and go. They'll never go.
Mm-hmm.
If you're waiting for it to get perfect, it's just not going to happen. Those days are few and far between.
And then what's the chances of being, you know, just sitting around going, oh man, this is my time. It's never gonna lie. That is just the challenges of the outdoor lifestyle. You gotta live it, you gotta love it. Whenever it's kicking your ass, you gotta laugh at it. And to me, I mean, that's where the juice is. I mean, that just it really is the hell. If it was easy,
Yeah.
if there was
It
an
easy
equation,
to do it.
if there was like an equation that you could punch in the numbers and go, this is it, it wouldn't be what it is.
Yeah.
It just would not be.
We had people on the group page, the Facebook group page, saying they're using AI trying to determine when to go fishing. Now, look, I'm not anti-AI. I've used it here and there, but I mean, come on. What are we doing here?
As Dean says, Mother Nature kicking your ass. I've run all the grandkids out so I could do the podcast. The dogs, the grandkids, sent them all outside. It's pouring down rain.
Well, hey,
Hasn't rained here in months.
it's a lesson. They'll be better because of it. They'll be better because of it. So yeah, so you can just feel it. But I did say, and we haven't talked about this much, but it is still kind of summery out there as we've discussed. The other thing I came across this week is this has apparently been, contrary to what you saw today, Scott, an absolute bumper crop, a bumper shrimp season. Lots of shrimp, big shrimp all over the place. Shrimp etouffee, shrimp gumbo. I feel like Forrest Gump here, but you get my point. I kind of wanted to pick you guys' brains a little bit about brown shrimp versus white shrimp. A lot of people don't know what to look for, what it means. Matching, do you throw more shrimp imitations? Do you not change a thing? What it means for you when you see all these shrimp, and they are out there. I mean, all the reports I read, like this has been a big year, to the point where, Scott, you just mentioned there's probably been another hatch here recently.
They're out there. I couldn't find them today, but I looked in the bait tank. They had some in there. I don't know. I hadn't read anything about it or heard anything about that, but
and I really don't change anything.
No,
I'm still going to fish with what I fish with. It's just, you're going to have hopefully more active fish, fish that are on the prowl, that are feeding. Maybe it just kicks them into to feed mode, where they're a little more excited about. And then, if they're out hunting, if they're hunting shrimp, if shrimp are active, anything that's jumping and clicking and splashing or wiggling and flashing. So if you got topwaters, you're looking at the noise, the commotion on the surface. If you have subsurface lures, you got paddle tails that are kicking vibration in the water. And I mean, it just depends. It may, if there's more bait fish available in the water, just like the rafts of mullet that we look for here. And that's another interesting thing. So the marsh, and I've said this before, I mean, I have comparing notes with Scott over the years from the northern part of the coast compared to the southern part of the coast, where they really do have more shrimp that are in the marsh, where you see them popping and you see them jumping and you see those schools of redfish chasing those shrimp. We have rafts of mullet on the flats, and where the marsh type of atmosphere, you're looking for those shrimp popping and you find redfish that are chasing those. You find rafts of mullet down here where we're at. And it's kind of crazy that, because on the planetary scale, we're not that far from each other, but there's quite a difference in the ecology of the flats opposed to the marsh. And those things, whether it's shrimp that are active or whether it's mullet that are active, it gets the predators following them.
I always wonder where the hell your shrimp are. I mean,
that's a good question.
They go shrimping and they catch shrimp. Where do they go?
The shrimp capital of the world.
Well, and so,
but where do they grow up? Because in the marsh they grow up in the cordgrass. I see them. That's where they're hatch out. They grow up in the marsh in the cordgrass. And when the tide goes low, they bury in the mud outside the cordgrass. And as soon as the tide comes up, they go right back in there. I've always wondered about that. How the shrimp, it's the same shrimp.
And so our shrimpers, the shrimp boats are dragging the really deeper water, the Corpus Christi Channel, Corpus Christi Bay, Aransas Bay. They're really in the deepest part of, and so.
Well, that's what ours are doing too, but that's not where they come out.
And that's
mature shrimp.
Where, and that is a question I do not have an answer to. We need to find a shrimpologist to explain where these things are living. But at
Port Mansfield, I see shrimp down in Port Mansfield when the reds get on them when they're migrating out. I don't know where the hell they're growing up. I've always been kind of curious about that.
Mm-hmm.
It's totally different, along the shorelines. You got mangroves all along your shorelines. I've got a lot of that here, but I've also got cordgrass.
Mm-hmm.
And I watch the mangroves, and I don't see the shrimp along the edge of the mangroves. They're always around the cordgrass.
Well, and you also have, back lakes and
Mm-hmm.
little creeks that connect to those lakes that, from Redfish Bay south do not exist. But we're not that far from Copano Bay. We're not that far from Espiritu Santos and those type of areas.
Scott kind of just blew my mind because I'm sitting here thinking, you know what? I haven't seen a lot of shrimp like that in those areas. We got the grass shorelines like crazy.
But we also have, the vast seagrass meadows that along in the marshy areas when those fish cling to the shorelines because that is safety on the mud flats. If they move off the shoreline, they're in wide open space, fair game for the predators. And the predators hug the shoreline. The bait fish tend to stay connected to the edges a lot more than they do on the flats of South Texas.
Yeah. One other part of that question was, when you see a lot of shrimp, and I saw this all the time in Sabine and Matagorda, the little popping shrimp, they're scared, just jumping up in the air. It's an awesome sight. It's one of my favorite things to see. Somebody was asking, like, well, do you start, outside and work? I was like, hell no. You just go quietly in there and throw right where those shrimp are popping. This is definitely not rocket science. When the shrimp are popping, that's where the fish are, right there. I'm guessing you guys would agree with that.
Oh, I'm throwing right in the middle of that.
Yes, sir. Right in the middle.
You don't see shrimp unless something's pushing them. Sometimes it's mullet, the big school of mullet swimming by. I mean, a shrimp doesn't know it's a mullet. He doesn't know they're not going to eat him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean,
how do you know that?
Jumping out of the water, there's a reason.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely the reason. Last thing on this, because I'm just going through the notes here that I wrote down from this point. You mentioned you're going to throw pretty much the same artificials, but do shrimp imitations? Do you lean that way a little more? Or does it even matter at all? Nothing.
Every now and then we'll throw the DOA shrimp, and I've got that real small one I've given you some of. The newer one that he's got, I think it's 2 1/4 inch, and it's really good for sight casting just because of the weight and the aerodynamics of it. But I don't think it really matters what kind of soft plastic you're throwing. We throw paddle tails into them all the time. But when there's a lot of shrimp around, I tell them to pop it, let it settle to the grass and then pop it out and make it act like a shrimp. If it acts like a shrimp, it doesn't have to look like one.
Yeah. I'm glad we got that in because that was one that was kind of burning a hole in the old document pocket here. I got to get somebody to help me out with these doves, man, because I wrote that note down right next to it just to myself. I got a dove problem on my marina that is outrageous. Every time I go, there is nothing that'll keep those suckers from pooping on your boat, man. I mean, we tried. Yeah, it's doves. Yeah. What kind of doves are they?
It's mourning doves, it's ringneck doves, it's white-winged doves. We also have grackles. The grackles are migrating, and they are so John and I are in the same marina. On his end of the marina, it is horrible. I cannot tell you.
My boat is black on the
top. And they are not on my end. But 2 years ago, they were on my end of the marina. I dealt with it every single day. But I mean,
the owl, John Parkoff thought the owl, I've got one, doesn't work. So do the people next to me.
People have put owls. They put hawks in there. They've even put recordings of like a timed every 15 minutes, a screeching hawk goes off. They get used to it. They figure it out. They don't care. The only thing they care about is me walking down that dock with my Red Ryder. But and I've kind of I didn't want to ricochet BBs or pellets and hit somebody's boat, so I kind of shied away from that. I mean, I didn't want anybody. I mean, I didn't want to create any controversy when I'm walking down the docks with a damn BB gun shooting over
I was
people.
gonna say you got a dove problem. I mean, bacon, jalapeno, and cheese.
That'll do it. The guy next to me even has like those little spiraling, kind of flashy.
And his boat is covered with more crap than
worse
anybody.
than mine. Worse than mine. Nothing
It's
has
like-
worked.
The only ones that I've got that problem where I keep my boat over at Jimmy's, and he's got those little spikes.
Yeah.
You can buy them. I looked at them on Amazon. You can buy the little bird spikes. You see them everywhere at restaurants and stuff on the water. And that seemed to work pretty good. We had barn swallows, and they make those mud nests, and they insist on making a mud nest right over the bow of my big boat. It's a mess. When they have babies, it's a real mess.
And just for the record, I'm on like 5% of my battery. I think my cellular service is draining my phone. So,
well, we got about 10 or 12 minutes here. So
I've been watching it go down. If I end abruptly, I
wanted to see you pop. I wanted to see you pop a coyote out the window, but
you're in a truck. Plug it in.
Yeah, plug it in your truck, man.
I don't have my charger with me, man. Charger's at the house.
That was a tactical faux pas on your part.
All right, so it is Thanksgiving weekend, and this was a question I was going to ask you guys because we've all talked about holidays you kind of avoid unless you have to go out there. I think Thanksgiving is the most underrated holiday of all to go fishing, and we'll get to what Scott.
I want to go on the record as to why I despise the holidays.
Okay, let's hear it.
It's in the middle of the best fishing of the year and the best hunting of the year. And people want to sit around the table and
with people you don't even like.
Hey, it wasn't my idea to be there because my vote was negatory. But you can get together. Why not have some pumpkin pie in July? Let's have turkey in like spring break. Let's get together. Let's get together in the windy season. Let's get together in April. Yes. Let's get together in April when it's 40-mile-an-hour wind. And then let's celebrate. But the middle of November to interrupt the best fishing of the year. And it's deer season. Deer season is short, man.
So short, you got to sit in your truck.
Yeah.
Look, dude, as soon as this is wrapped, I'm fixing to go shoot me some birds. It's quail season. It's everything season right now.
It's turkey season too. You can go shoot
turkey season. It's quail season. It's deer season. It's fishing season. And it just happens to be pumpkin pie season.
Scott's got his whole family there, and he'd rather be out.
Yeah.
Sorry, family. I know you can hear me, but I think it's the best if of all the holidays, despite what Dean just said. Because if you can get away, it's really not that crowded out there. It really isn't. I mean, you can find the Thursday afternoon, Friday morning. And as Dean said, it's November, man. It should be cooler, and you can get some fish.
And that's another thing about we have had the flats to ourselves. You get spoiled this time of year. I mean, you get. I was out there on Ransom Flats, and I saw one boat about a half a mile from me, and I was like, "Dude, what the hell?" Crowding my space, man.
You get that. I didn't see maybe 10 boats today. For Port O'Connor, that's really good.
Yeah.
And about half of them, of course, were airboats doing duck hunts.
Yeah.
I had 2 boats come in on me today with nobody around. And one of them I know was a mistake. He ran up into a cove. He saw me back there poling, and he ran up in that cove, and it was not deep. he pulled a John on a sandbar.
Ah,
He kept running in there, and you could see him kind of looking around. I was looking like, "What the hell are you doing, man? Why are you going to pull into this? It's a dead end little cove."
Yeah.
I think he was lost. He shut down, and then he started looking around, and I think he realized he didn't have a way out of there.
Yeah.
He tore some grass up getting out. The other one was just some folks in a John boat, and they were running back there where I was. I was up in the mouth of a bayou off the flat, and they were running back there, and all of a sudden I heard, and they did what John does.
Hey, what do you mean does? It was strategic.
They stopped.
man,
They put
after
out
John kicked that big rooster tail of mud up, I grabbed my phone, man. I had video rolling. I was like, oh, he's gonna do it again, man.
No.
I said, I'm gonna get this. And I did not get my second chance.
John boat right in there. Then they stopped, and they were stuck. You know, I mean, they couldn't go no further.
Mm-hmm.
They stopped, and they put out a stakeout stick and tied off to it, and started fishing.
Hey,
Yeah, this is where
what
we
you gonna
intended to
do?
go.
Yeah. Y'all acting like you never done that. All right. Dean is down to the last 5 minutes of his battery, just in time for what would Scott do and what would Dean do. And I've been looking at this. By the way, just got a text from Pat Gardner. Holy, he's on 3 fish over 28 inches down in East Matagorda, but he didn't tell me where he was, so I'm not going to share. But he was going to hop on because Caleb wasn't going to make it, but he's in a deer blind too with no signal. So 3 over 28, I'll take it. But with that in mind, I mean, I've been looking at this forecast, and you said it earlier, Scott. I'll start with you. I mean, it gets a little cooler. What is it, tomorrow night? What's it looking like for you?
It's looking like a big old no.
Yeah.
And I mean, we had wind today. It was wild. We had started with a west wind, northwest, and it went north, and it was northeast, and it was east by the time we were getting off the water, but it never got over about 5 or 6 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Picking up this evening. Tomorrow morning, 22 gusting to 27.
Friday's blowing.
Thursday's the best. I mean, it's 15.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 15, maybe 20 gusting, but then Friday,
east
20,
wind was what I got.
Straight east, 22, 23, 24.
Ooh.
Saturday,
Damn.
southeast, 26 gusting to 32. Sunday, 28 gusting to 32.
Mm-hmm.
What direction are you looking at?
East.
That's
East
all.
wind.
Well, that was east, then southeast, then north.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Every day's different, and every day's strong. So, I'm gonna eat some turkey and maybe deer hunt a little bit.
How about that? Yeah.
That's gonna be it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad I went out there today.
Well, now I'm depressed because it was better earlier in the week. We always look at it. But it's blowing where we are too, Dean. East wind, though, if you have to go out, what are you going to do?
Get Dean to check on the ranch forecast and see if it's any better.
Man, actually, I'm sitting here talking. I'm looking at my phone, so I can't even analyze.
Well, trust me, it's going to be east, and it's going to be blowing a little bit.
Well, the one thing that will do as the tide, and so we've had some higher tides.
Mm-hmm.
Higher than normal, and if that east wind keeps pushing water in, even with that wind blowing, you can get on the shallowest flats, you can get to some protected shorelines, and if you have high tides, the wind is less of an issue. If you have lower than normal tides and it's windy, that puts you out in the open. So low tide and high wind is way more of a challenge than high tide and high wind.
And Perry nailed it. Perry, go ahead.
I just pulled up Aransas Pass. Right now, it's north at 0.
Well, hold that thought.
It ain't gonna be that tomorrow.
No.
Y'all got the same thing I got.
Well, we're just actually sitting right in the buffer zone right now. I mean, where I'm sitting here looking across this pasture at the moment, there is not a breath of wind, but I think it's due to hit us here on the Mexican border about midnight tonight.
Mm-hmm. Well, Perry nailed it. Get those shootouts ready. get those shootouts ready.
Yep, and I'm still shipping shootouts for stocking stuffers. Between now and Christmas, it comes with free bonus piece of rope.
But wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more. Yeah, do that. Book Dean for a trip, book Scott for a trip, book Caleb for a trip. You will not regret it. And they will have their cameras ready in case you strategically run into a sandbar. But that's neither here nor there. And speaking of specials, you can also go on the group page and get the new gear. Scott, I have yours right here on my desk next to me. You and Camille and Caleb, I got to get those. I might just ship them because I keep wanting to get down and stop by your place, but haven't been able to. So you got shirts, you got hats, and you got the special where you can get 2 bottles of OG sauce, a shirt, and a hat for like $25 off. Just go to the group page, and you can click on the pinned links on the top, and you'll be good to go. You guys got anything else before we get out of here?
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody out there. Appreciate everybody tuning in.
Friday, gonna watch the showdown.
Big showdown Friday. I'm not saying anything. Perry said Giga Maggies. I'll just say it in his words there. But yeah, gonna be a big time showdown. We'll see how it plays out. Gonna be a great football weekend. NFL too. I mean, all of it. So don't forget to book our guys. We really appreciate you joining us. Dean's Battery made it. And you guys have a great holiday, great weekend. Be nice to your family, even though you don't want to. Catch them up. We'll talk to you next time.